But what if Canelo shoves you again in this press conference?
I'm gonna cry like a baby.
All right, thank you.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2000.
Tensions flared in Las Vegas as Terence Crawford unleashed his fury on Canelo Alvarez during a heated face-off that rocked the boxing world. Crawford's fiery words, "Watch what I do to you," were more than just talk, they were a declaration of war. With the September 13th super fight at Allegiant Stadium looming, the undisputed champions collided in a build-up filled with shoves, sharp words, and an intensity that has electrified fans worldwide. At the UFC Performance Institute, where his wrestling roots often bring him to train, Crawford is greeted by countless MMA fans eager for photos. This crossover appeal further elevates his aura as he readies for the toughest challenge of his career.
Crawford! Four-time champion.
Crawford, famed for his adaptability and ruthless precision, displayed trademark confidence at the recent press conferences. A proud switch hitter with blistering hand speed and impressive reach, he effortlessly adjusts mid-fight, often shifting to southpaw when orthodox falters. His aggressive style and versatile skill set have made him one of boxing's most complete fighters today.
The only running that I'm going to be doing is running upside his head, and I can assure you that. Facts. And he got a big head too.
On the other side stands Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar who needs no introduction. Calm, calculated, and composed, he brushed off Crawford's trash talk and the New York shoving match as nothing more than a reaction, not aggression. Canelo also cast doubt on Crawford's bravado, suggesting it was fueled by Saudi boxing power broker Turki Al-Sheikh. For Canelo, respect matters, but once the line is crossed, he warns, everything changes.
I always try to respect my opponents, and I think he don't did them because he really wanted to do. I think Turki Al-Sheikh told him, you need to do something, and he did. And now before I respect his word because he say, oh, I'm not gonna let somebody to tell me what I need to do, and he did. So, but you know me. I respect everybody, but if you with me, so it's gonna be different.
While the trash talk heats up, the fight is also generating massive buzz behind the scenes. Backed by a star-studded lineup from combat sports and entertainment, the event has Dana White, WWE's Nick Khan, and Turki Al-Sheikh all playing key roles in shaping it into a global spectacle. White, the face of the UFC, is stepping into boxing promotion for the first time, co-promoting the bout under the TKO Group banner. He's voiced his excitement, praising both fighters' greatness while highlighting the chance to help push boxing into a new era.
I've been a big fan of boxing since I was a kid. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for boxing. For this to be the first boxing match that I'm involved in promoting is an absolute honor. Two of the greatest of all time and one of the biggest fights ever in the history of the sport. So, very, very proud moment for me, and I've done a lot of things in my career.
Meanwhile, Canelo praised White's involvement, expressing respect for all UFC fighters and confidence that this collaboration could create something monumental for combat sports.
You guys make us like look at we are competing, but no, I'm not. I always like Dana White. I like and I respect all the UFC fighters, and I think this we can show people if we are together, we can do big things. So I'm very glad to work with Dana White and obviously everybody involved in this big fight. Turki Al-Sheikh, Netflix, Nick Khan, everybody. So I'm glad to go with this guy. So I always like him, and he knows.
Promoter Eddie Hearn, in an interview, emphasized that Turki Alalshik is the one truly calling the shots, framing Dana White's role as more symbolic, a guest promoter with massive American influence. Hearn admitted that while the real decisions are made elsewhere, Dana's profile makes his involvement a smart move.
But the reality is the promoter of this fight is Turki Alalshik. You know, it doesn't matter when, you know, whenever there's a Riyadh season event or a Ring Magazine event, all the decisions are made from His Excellency. I've been involved, you know, and you actually don't really get much of an opportunity to make any decisions because he makes them all for you. You know, everything down to the design of the promo, to the on-sale ticket dates, to the venue deal. I mean, they're financially bankrolling the event, so they're going to be making all the decisions. I think it's a good look to have Dana doing it. I mean,
for Crawford, this fight could define his career, but it comes with serious risks. Boxing analyst Max Kellerman didn't hesitate to highlight the danger for the undefeated star. He compared it to the 1983 clash between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran, where Duran, like Crawford, moved up from lightweight to challenge a dominant champion. That bout turned out far closer than expected, with Hagler needing the final round to edge out the decision. The message was clear: moving up to face a physically superior champion isn't just difficult, it can alter a fighter's career trajectory entirely.
It's a bigger event than what I'm about to tell you, but it reminds me a lot of Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran, which is largely forgotten among the four kings fights, as they say, but Duran was a lightweight. He was moving all the way up eventually to middleweight, where he was fighting who would have been, had there been a Ring Magazine championship at the time, but he was the undisputed, he was the man at middleweight, just like Canelo's the man at super middleweight. He's the champ. And Duran moved up from junior middle to middle, but he'd started at light, just like Crawford. And I remember I was a little kid, 8 years old, something, but heading into that fight, I'm thinking, Hagler's gonna kill him, he's too big. And Hagler was the best pound for pound in the whole.
The stakes for Crawford are historic, as he aims to become the first male boxer ever to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, a feat achieved only by Claressa Shields on the women's side. Meanwhile, Canelo stays grounded yet supremely confident, reminding everyone that while Crawford is great, he isn't Canelo. This fight isn't just about titles, it's about legacy.
I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. You know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and you know, the Kovalevs and Triple G's, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights. You know, so this is my mega fight, this is my moment, and that's the reason why I want to fight an all-time great like Canelo.
But not everyone is satisfied with how the build-up is playing out. Oscar de la Hoya slammed the promotion, accusing organizers of soft-selling a fight that should feel like a war. He highlighted a photo of Canelo and Crawford sharing dinner and questioned whether true rivals should appear that friendly. Drawing comparisons to legends like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, De La Hoya insisted boxing thrives on tension, not champagne.
The ridiculous promotion of Canelo Crawford has given me lots of good ammunition. Ooh, first, let's take it back to last week when this photo was taken of Canelo and Crawford having dinner together. Like they're best friends.
I love you, man.
They're buddies, like they were family friends. I mean, can you imagine Muhammad Ali or like Joe Frazier having dinner together? What? Can you imagine Mike Tyson and Mitch Green before a brawl? What? No boxing fan wants to see 2 fighters having dinner together.
We could have a dinner on Wednesday night.
We want bad.
De La Hoya also fired shots at Dana White, mocking the UFC boss's answers on promotion and branding him a Neanderthal. He sarcastically described White as a walking billboard for affliction while accusing him of dodging serious discussion. His main argument, however, was that the fight lacks the raw antagonism that makes fans truly care, something he feels is being lost to corporate polish.
That means Dana White will have to choose whether to be present at the UFC Noche in Texas or the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And when confronted about his plans, Dana White simply chose to be the Neanderthal that he is, dodging the question and calling me a douchebag. I mean, it's ironic coming from the guy who's a walking billboard for affliction. I mean, we can all agree. If you look up the word douchebag, in the dictionary, Dana White's photo pops up.
While opinions differ on the build-up, experts agree on one thing: the fight itself will be unforgettable. Legendary announcer Michael Buffer predicted a technical chess match rather than a knockout brawl, believing the outcome will hinge on strategy, angles, and timing instead of sheer power. He also praised Dana White's promotional instincts, noting that his involvement can only help boxing continue to evolve.
It's not a big fight unless you're announcing it. Canelo versus Crawford. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be a close and interesting fight.
Right.
I think it's going to be a technical fight, not a power fight.
Now, what do you think about Dana White promoting it? You think
he's only proven himself to be one of the greatest promoters in the history of sports.
So he's good for a good deal. He's good for boxing.
Oh yeah, he'll know what to do.
Because some people like De La Hoya have been a little critical of him, but he has the Michael Buffer approval, obviously. For sure. You're the man.
British cruiserweight champion Vidal Riley offered another detailed prediction, envisioning a cautious, tactical start with the first 3 to 4 rounds serving as a feeling-out period. As the fight develops, he expects Crawford to settle into his rhythm, particularly if he switches from orthodox to southpaw, a move that has paid dividends in past bouts.
What do you expect? I'm expecting a quiet 3-4 rounds. As the fight moves into the middle, I'd expect Crawford to find his rhythm. It all depends on what stance Crawford thinks is the one to use against Canelo as well. Because we've seen him come out orthodox, have a bit of difficulties, and then just switch southpaw, and then start winning the fight. So I wonder how Canelo's going to deal with that change of stance. Someone who is equally as good on both sides. It's not like he can switch a bit. He can say, you know what, orthodox, I'm losing. I'm just going to go southpaw for the rest of the fight. Canelo hasn't had to deal with a conundrum like that in a while. It's a very interesting fight. Will someone get dropped? Yes, someone's getting dropped. At this level, bro, I don't write off anyone's abilities because we know Canelo can drop.
Riley noted that Canelo hasn't faced a fighter equally skilled in both stances for quite some time, and that Crawford's ability to adapt mid-fight could prove to be his secret weapon.
But we can't be so sure that way and unsure the other way. Crawford had a year to build up to this weight. So, yeah, man, it's exciting.
Who wins the fight?
Crawford points.
Riley didn't rule out knockdowns either, predicting that someone will hit the canvas because at this level, anything is possible. While he acknowledged Canelo's ability to drop Crawford with a sharp body shot or uppercut, he cautioned against assuming Crawford couldn't return the favor. He emphasized that Crawford has spent a full year preparing for the move up in weight, indicating his body and power may be primed for this challenge. Ultimately, Riley trusted his gut and predicted a Crawford win by decision.
Genuinely, if you would have said Canelo versus Bob Crawford, you would have never believed it. Especially when one guy is fighting at middleweight, one guy is fighting at light welter. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't expect it to happen, but Crawford looked big though. He's taken the time out to put the weight on, and he's had like a year to prepare for this, so he could also bulk and be ready. So I'm interested to see, really more so, if Canelo can show us flashes of him in the past. Because we haven't seen that Canelo in a while. He's had a few touches, based on his level, how elite he is, he's had a few touches. This is not a touch with Bob Crawford.
Adding another layer of excitement, Turki Alalshik and Dana White announced that performance bonuses will be introduced for the event, a first for boxing on this scale.
This bonus that night is going to be over 6 figures. We're still talking about it. So, yeah, it's going to be a big number. Whoever wins the performance bonus of the night that night.
They confirmed a hefty bonus for a knockout, giving fighters extra motivation to go for the finish. Alalshik, a driving force behind Riyadh Season's rise as a global fight hub, stressed that the era of gimmick matchups is over. Moving forward, it's only real fights.
This is the first thing. The second, we will have in this fight and the next fight, bonus for KO.
That's fucking illegal.
Crawford's last major test came against Sean Porter, a tough, relentless fighter, and he passed impressively by stopping him late. But this challenge is on another level. Canelo is a seasoned veteran at super middleweight, having gone to war with Gennady Golovkin, faced Dmitry Bivol, and ruled 168 pounds for years. For Crawford, the question is whether he can absorb the power of a bigger man and still impose his game plan.
Asked about facing David Benavidez, Canelo said he preferred fighting Terence Crawford, not just for the challenge, but because a win over Crawford would look better on his record.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger, menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez?
You can see the career of Terence Crawford or Benavidez. Terence Crawford undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, many championship fights. So he bring me something to the table.
Despite the doubts, one thing is certain: fans are set for a blockbuster night. With all 4 super middleweight titles at stake, legacies hang in the balance. Crawford is chasing history as the first male to become undisputed in 3 divisions, while Canelo aims to show that even the best moving up can't dethrone him at the top. Beyond the glitz and spectacle, this is a clash of greatness, and neither man intends to blink.
Fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You
Since
mention me
2002.
one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look,
It's gonna be me.
I don't
And
care
you
about
will-
nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Adding more fuel to the fire, Carl Froch didn't hold back on how dangerous this fight could be for Canelo. He argued that Alvarez losing is a real possibility, and a Crawford victory wouldn't even count as a major upset given how many fans and analysts already believe Bud has what it takes. Froch praised Crawford's mental toughness, confidence, and sharp boxing IQ, while also acknowledging that Canelo's ring experience and mastery of the craft are unmatched, making this showdown all the more compelling.
Although the Brits do want to see it because of the history of Ben Eubanks. So out of all the top fights that potentially could happen that I would want to see, and I'd think that boxing fans would want to see, especially boxing purists, it's going to be Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. It's got to be all day long. I mean, Terence Crawford is just an unbelievable talent, and we've never seen him beat. So when there's somebody who's unbeaten, you always want to see how they're going to cope with somebody who's potentially got a massive favourite. We saw what happened to Amir Khan when he stepped up from welterweight. He got absolutely ironed out, but that's sometimes what happens if somebody's smaller coming up to a bigger weight division. They get clips on the chin. They're not used to taking that punch power. And up at light middleweight, when Terence Crawford stepped up to fight his...
Meanwhile, Jim Lampley reflected on Canelo's past fight with Floyd Mayweather, expressing hope that the Mexican star learned valuable lessons from that experience. He highlighted Canelo's exceptional skill set and consistent success, pointing out that he's never been knocked out. In Lampley's view, Canelo will pose a serious challenge for Crawford in this matchup.
Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest.
The heat keeps rising as Canelo and Crawford trade not just fists, but bold words and fierce warnings. With Dana White stepping into boxing spotlight and Turki Alalshik unveiling big TKO bonuses, the showdown has become even more explosive. Yet while Dana fuels the hype, critics continue to question his role in the sweet science. Still, when the bell rings, talk becomes meaningless, only fists will matter. So, who walks away with the win? The slick technician or the relentless power puncher? One thing's certain, fight fans are in for a war. Don't blink.